right. Good morning. It's a happy Tuesday. PFF Tuesday. We're getting this ready. I started a live a little bit early so I can do all my invites. And I'd like it if you guys would do the same things. Sitting there. I'm waiting for main event Mike to pop in here. Doing some last second invites to the Detroit Lions villain squad. Football Talk with Russell Wayne, the PFF edition. The Lions are the new kings of the North. Now, who would dispute that? The Lions got all them heart. How you guys feeling out there? Oh, I got all my invites in. If you're over on the YouTube channel right now, please hit that like button. If you're on Detroit Lions Villain Squad, please hit that like button. Good morning, Single Dads Club. 6-2, y'all. Put what team you represent into the comments, everybody. And join us each and every morning right now. It is time for Football Talk with Russell Wayne, Scotty Reno, baby. What's going on? Raiders got hospitalized, knee capitalized. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Fred. Let's do this thing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. This is NFC North Talk, or Football Talk, with your host, Russell Wayne. That's me. We are broadcasting live into Detroit Lions news, Detroit Lions Villain Squad, NFC North main event, and our YouTube channel. We appreciate everybody making us one of their listens or one of their watches every single day. And we appreciate a like and a share on this video if you're a football fan like I am a football fan, and more importantly, a Detroit Lions fan. The Detroit Lions win on Monday Night Football, 26-14. Put a whooping on them butts. Gotta love it. The fans showed out. The fans did their thing right here. And I'm pretty happy. Put your first feelings that you would have from this win into the comments. Even if you're a rival fan, go ahead and put your first thoughts in there about the Lions dominating this division right here. And happy Halloween to you as I welcome to the program my partner in crime right here, Main Event Mike, Emmy nominated Main Event Mike. Happy Halloween, brother. Oh, you're on mute. Much better with words. I guess these aliens don't speak English. We're gonna have to give them some time. I don't know if they must have taken over Main Event Mike's body right here. I don't know how to do that. Can I unmute you? I can't unmute you. I don't know. Wait. So Lions win. 26-14. Put a whooping on that ass. We're going to look at some of these PFF grades for this game right here. And I haven't even seen them yet. And I haven't heard Mike yet.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. I am here. Happy Halloween, Mike.
You got me, Russ. You clowned me. I thought we were going to dress in costumes today.
Oh, okay. Is that why your mic was on mute?
No, that's just Murphy's Law kicking in, because I try to plan a gag, and of course something has to go wrong. Every day I click on to this show, my mute button is not on, but the one day I can't see it because I'm wearing a mask, the mute button's on. So, you know.
Oh no.
I feel like Max Crosby. I try so hard and I still lose.
Oh, we got some good, but we do have some feel goods in the comments right here. You know, Singles Dad Club comes in with this 6-2 hill. Yeah. Jordan in the house. Good victory morning right here. We got lots of one pride in here. Dwayne is in the comments. He's happy about 6-2. Fred. Good morning, Fred. It's a great day to be a Lion fan. It really is. Detroit Fan Man says, I still can't believe Gibbs had more yards than all of the Raiders. Great job. Nice job, Jameer. What do you think? You want to comment on that, Jameer Gibbs?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great performance, huh? What a great performance. I had the over 25.5 receiving yards for Jameer Gibbs, so I hit my bet on that. Lions just played a great game. If you take away the 2 turnovers, they destroyed the Raiders. They were never in doubt in this game. I thought it was just a great all-around team performance. Max Crosby is an absolute beast, and in the first half, he was just killing us. I mean, he was a huge reason why the Lions couldn't score in the red zone. 2 of 5 in the red zone. That's not good. 1 of 5, excuse me, in the red zone. That's not good. Jahmyr Gibbs, a one-man wrecking crew, 26 carries, 152 yards with a 5.8-yard average. Russ, is what you've been saying since we drafted this kid. He's a nightmare in space, but he can also run between the tackles. So 5.8-yard average rushing the ball is amazing. Jahmyr Gibbs also chips in 37 yards receiving. So totally, yeah, he had 189 yards total or something. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Jimmy Garoppolo for the Raiders, only 126 yards passing, and Josh Jacobs was 61. So, yeah, he had more yards himself than the Raiders. That's a good call out by our viewer.
I love that. And let's get into some of these PFF grades. Offensively, even though Jared Goff had the horrific pick 6, which he did explain that pick 6. I mean, he takes accountability for it because, he was trying to get the ball out of bounds. He ended up sailing the ball and just left it right out there on a silver platter for Marcus Peters to take into the end zone, and then, got clowned on, getting juked. Jared Goff, you can see him diving for the tackle in that touchdown. But other than that, he was at a 84.4 total offensive grade right there. So, I mean, he was very efficient in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs was the second highest graded player at 83.3. Obviously, he had an 88 pass grade. Jahmyr Gibbs was outstanding. He definitely lived up to the 12th overall billing as a weapon, how they used him. And that was something that I did bring up earlier, how he could be able to run in between the tackles. And I've heard that as a criticism over the last couple of weeks from you and like Sir Slap Nasty. And this kid, forget the weight, forget the speed. He's not a speed back. This guy is built to do. I thought actually when you look at him, he's a lot bigger than you think that he is. He's not, you think he's a toothpick because he's fast, but no, he's stout. He's built, he's fast. And gosh, the way that he can make people miss in space and come out of piles. I mean, didn't you just have this feeling during the entire game? Every time that he got the ball, he'd run into a bunch of like, this guy's going to come out of a pile. And then he does a little spin move and all of a sudden he's running in space. So we're seeing the breakout. We're seeing why they picked this guy at 12. I know that John Dorn isn't going to come on this show because he's been a ghost. He wants to go and, talk smack in his own little pond over here in the corner that they kicked us out of.
Who?
John Dorn. You remember John Dorn?
I never heard of her. But I would like to say the one stat that really sticks out to me, Russ. Are you ready for this? And
I'm
this
ready.
this encapsulates what this team is about. Time of possession in the ball game yesterday. The Raiders had the ball for 20 minutes and 27 seconds. The Lions, nearly 40 minutes. They had the ball, 39-33. I mean, that's 19 minutes of the ball game that you don't get the ball. You say what you want about the red zone struggles, but they were chewing up the clock, doing what the Lions do, running the ball, moving the sticks. Yeah, the drive stalled. Yeah, they had 2 turnovers. I know the box score says 3 turnovers, but I refuse to count that turnover where Max Crosby ripped the ball out from the pile after Jahmyr Gibbs had been down a good 4 whole seconds. And as they're clearing the pile off, the guy reaches down and pulls the ball out, and they call that a fumble. The whistle had already blown. How can you call that? All right, so I'm over that. 2 turnovers.
No, you're good.
2
here's
turnovers, stall in the red zone. Just what the Lions do. They take these teams out in the deep water, and when your defense is out on the field for such a long time, it's just a matter of time before backs like Jahmyr Gibbs are breaking tackles, busting this game wide open. The Lions had total control of this game. Can you imagine 19 minutes differential in time of possession? I don't care if it's the Eagles, the Niners. I don't care who it is. If we hold the ball 19 minutes longer than you in any game, we're going to win 100 of 100 games.
Yeah, and we can complain about the refs. Here's the rule is you can't complain about the refs in a loss. We can absolutely complain about the refs in this win that we dominated anyway, but that was an awful call. These refs have to do a better job. They need to be held accountable. It wasn't just for us. When they looked at that horse collar tackle that nullified their penalty, it wasn't even a horse collar tackle. They were calling them on both sides. That was the one I saw on their side that was bad. But these guys got to stop trying to control the game and let these guys play. And I think it can be said. What do you think about the refereeing in the last couple weeks in the NFL? Put that one into the comments. I do think that you can bring it up. Fred says that Gibbs looked like a beast. JMO showed what he was capable of. Sure, yeah, he had a big third down catch. JMO did, and that's cool. I'm glad to see these guys start to get accustomed to the NFL. They're still young. That's the thing that people forget about JMO. He's like 21 years old. He's a kid. I mean, when you see his interviews, it looks like you're interviewing like a 16-year-old kid. And I think they treat it as such. You know, they got to get this kid up to speed into the NFL things. He's got all the ability. Now you've seen it. JMO, he just needs to be professional. Just learn how to be a professional and he'll be fine. They don't have to get him 20 targets a game and put all this pressure on him. Just put him out there, let him slow-mo into the groove, J-Mo into the groove, right? Dwayne says that Sam Laporta and Brown also did awesome. Yes, they're on my fantasy football teams and almost squeaked out a victory on a game that I didn't think I had any chance of winning. So that's pretty cool, having two dynamic playmakers like Laporta and St. Brown.
And then you got grinders like Craig Reynolds, 14 carries, 74 yards, a 5.3 yard average. He kept the chains moving, some big third down runs, great effort plays like we always see from Craig Reynolds. Kudos to him. Running the ball on a night that Jared Goff looked really good. If you take away that interception, he looked really, really good. I thought, Sal. He knew when to throw the ball away. He's just getting so smart in his decision making. But I think the real story of this game is the defense, right? It's got to be the defense. I realize the Raiders aren't an offensive juggernaut. But, before
you pivot to the defensive part of the game, I want to put one more shout out. And this is something else I don't normally say after losses, but injuries, right? The Lions have been battling through a lot of injuries, and I wanted to put a Kadea Awasika. I don't even know how you say his name, that stepped in at left guard, graded out at a 74.3 in reserve of Jonah Jackson in that game. And that's awesome. I mean, Graham Glasgow had to step in and be the center this week. He didn't have a great game, but he had a 57.6, but you're asking these guys to just come in and just play in reserve. And before you criticize the team for whatever you're going to criticize them in, like maybe the red zone or whatever, just remember that the normal guys that are supposed to be out there blocking, they got backups in there. And these backups are stepping up and doing a pretty good job considering they're not the starters. Okay,
yeah, I forgot it was PFF Tuesday. Yeah, that's great. And that was one of the first things that Dan Campbell pointed to in his post-game press conference was Dan Skipper, Colby Sorsdahl, and Awasika. These guys stepping in, moving the pile, doing their job. They were rotating them in and out, and they all stepped up, and that's what you got to do. And I think that's a big result of home cooking, right? Being in the confines of your own building, the comfort level. The crowd was insane. Just a great total win all the way around. I'm excited to see these PFF grades on some players for sure.
Yeah. Well, and this is the funny thing when you're looking at PFF, the guys that you thought were probably really, really good. It's really funny because one of the bottom 5 for PFF grades are Cameron Sutton, Alex Anzalone. I'm just, and I'm not going to go any further than that because it's like, peeing in the wind here. I mean, but because the entire defense played well. Alex Anzalone had a couple sacks.
What was Aleem McNeil?
Aleem McNeil. Okay, let's get into these top 5. Derek Barnes was the highest graded Lion.
Wow.
He had a stellar 91.6 grade. That we are getting some very, very good linebacker play. But then we are looking at secondary guys, right? Our secondary played outstanding. Kirby Joseph with an 81. Jerry Jacobs with a 78. Brian Branch with a 69. Tracy Walker with the 62. So these guys were out there balling in the back. And where's Aleem McNeil? I'm looking for Aleem McNeil. Where the hell is Aleem McNeil?
Yeah, 2 sacks. Lions get 6 sacks on Jimmy Garoppolo.
The Aleem McNeil overall was 61.4, but as a pass rusher, he had an 81.7 grade in the pass rushing department. So
what a difference that makes when you can get pressure, when you can get pressure up the middle from your nose tackle. That's where it's at. You got to be able to get pressure with 4 guys in this league, and the Lions was bringing the heat. 6 sacks on Jimmy Garoppolo, 2 from Aleem, right? 1 from Tracy Walker, and 2 from Alex Anzalone. He may have gotten 3, 1 for an end zone safety had he not been tripped coming into the quarterback, and then the refs call him for diving for the knees, but he was obviously tripped on the way in. Alex Anzalone played out of his mind. Maybe it was that awesome Alex Anzalone section in the fans that fueled him.
Wow. And here's something that needs to be said right here. Out of 17 gradable players on defense, there were only 3 players that measured under 69 in a tackling grade. This team right here, this Detroit Lions team knows how to tackle. They know how to tackle, and they tackle extremely well. Jack Campbell with another 79 grade in tackling. This guy is a tackling machine. I see why they took him at 18 overall.
Mm-hmm. And we got to see Malcolm Rodriguez take a snap at fullback on a 4th and inches, push the pile. It was great. Great to see. Look at Rodrigo lined up at fullback.
Hey, you know what? That's the exact same thing that Jason Kabinda did. That's what they did. He was a converted linebacker. They were like, oh, well, let's make a fullback. And then, in walks in Jason Kabinda. So maybe that's Malcolm Rodriguez's future right there. And he can play some linebacker in a pinch too. Like if you go in, he doubles on that. So
I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Hank Fraley. Not only was he using a mishmash of personnel to cobble together an offensive line, but Max Crosby, this guy is so impressive. In the first half, he was wrecking our game plan. And then in the second half, he was almost non-existent. I know that I pointed out to you last night. Look at how they're chipping him. And then they let Penei Sewell finish him off. And then they made adjustments at halftime to negate Max Crosby, and it worked. Shout out to Hank Fraley, one of the best O-line coaches in the game.
Yeah, and you know what? It was really cool in the first half is Laporta did get owned by Max Crosby in there. And I heard a couple of people at the Lions Den saying, why now would they put him out there on the island? Well, he did handle Max Crosby on one of the run plays in the first half by himself. And I remember them noting that. So they probably gave him another shot. And then Max Crosby says, nah, you ain't going to get me again. And yeah, we definitely need to send another guy over there to chip him first because he is Max Crosby. God, I want to have him today. Do you think that he stayed? I think that he missed the flight. What do you think, Mike? Did Max Crosby miss the flight back to LA?
I think it's a pipe
or Las Vegas? It's a pipe dream. Yeah. It's not squashed. It's not squashed. We can get Max Crosby. Brad Holmes, get on the phone. Get on the phone because we need Crosby right across from Aiden Hutchinson. I can see it now.
I mean, yes. He's young. He's dominant, and you look at how he played last night, even in a losing effort. If you're the Raiders, why in the world would you ever get rid of this guy? No way. No way. They just drafted Tyree Wilson to go on the other side with him. They're building a defense
That's
there.
why you can get rid of him.
I would be shocked. I'd be shocked.
Get that capital. You got Tyree Wilson, build the team around. Go do it. Do it. Give us Crosby. That's what we want.
I mean, the trade deadline is today at 4:00 p.m. Eastern time. And the Lions, by all accounts and all rumors, are working hard to get something done. Brad Holmes keeping his cards very close to his sweater vest. And I don't know what he's got cooking. Dan Campbell won't tip the hand and let us know what he's cooking. But I think we're going to find out here by 4 p.m. He may not do any deal. But what's most likely to happen is Brad Holmes will do something. It just won't be a huge splash move, a huge player. It'll be a contributing player that'll help this team. But I don't think it'll be a big name. If I'm wrong, gosh, I hope I'm wrong.
See, I love this comment right here, and I want you to be wrong. I'm gonna dream the impossible dream, and that's what we're gonna challenge our audience to do today: is to dream the impossible dream. Stop letting people tell you how to fan. Like Detroit Fan Man with 3 backups, starting line on our offensive line, skipper replacing one in the midway. Really thought that Coach Hank Honeybuns would get the game ball, but that D was stiff and excellent. But it's the backups, man. The depth. This right here, when you look at previous Lions regimes, you would be looking at this on Tuesday as the reason you lost. You have all these offensive linemen out, and they were able to get pressure up the middle. They were able to wreck the game, blah, blah, blah. That didn't happen. This is a game that ends up being more important than you think it is. Like, all beat up, you were able to, put this thing together and make an offensive line and make it work and then still get the win. That's the sign of a team that is on the rise with excellent depth. And guess what? We got 2 weeks off. Some of these guys are going to get healthy. Somebody's going to get healthy in 2 weeks. This is much needed rest. The bye couldn't have came at a better time. I love the comment. Thank you, Detroit Fan Man.
Yeah. Going to be great to see David Montgomery come back. Interesting stat I heard on the radio today. The Lions had the third hardest schedule through the first 8 weeks. And going down the stretch, they'll have the second easiest schedule. Everything's lining up for this
team.
They
are who we thought they were.
Definitely going to get a home playoff game as long as we can keep our quarterback healthy and on the field. I think we're going to get a first round home playoff game, but we're gunning for the number 1 seed this year.
Yeah, and I think that, do you think that we can get this number 1 seed? That's what I want to ask you guys out there, and especially the opposing fan bases. Throw your haterade in there. Tell us that it isn't going to happen, how we won't get the number 1 seed, how we're not a Super Bowl team yet because blah, 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 and whatever asterisk that you want to put in there. But I want to pump the brakes. I'm pumping the brakes. I'm sick of pumping the brakes. This team is 6-2, and I'm going to call this team a Super Bowl contender until it's not. I mean, you want to tell me San Francisco's better? Really? Will Brock intercept the Purdy? Come on, man. And now, the Philadelphia Eagles might be the best team in the NFL, and they're going out and they're making moves. They're trying to get some shit done right now. They're trying to get freaking Aaron Donald. Now, I want Brad Holmes to go out there and make us happy like that. We're Lions fans. We want some juice. I don't think that we need another player. I mean, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell would say they like their roster. We got 23 guys that Brad Holmes drafted, all of them.
Did you say we need some Jews?
Huh?
Did you say we need some Jews?
Come on, man. Don't set me up like that. I did not say anything about
juice.
That.
Oh, I'm sorry, juice. We need some juice.
Thank you. God. Don't put me there. Don't put me in that box.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Philadelphia, Howie Roseman. Speaking of Jews, Howie Roseman out there trying to get things done, trying to get Aaron Donald on an already loaded defense. You got Darius Slay, Bradbury, Jalen Carter. I mean, the names go on and on this defense. They've only got one loss, and you know what? They haven't even played their best game yet. They're going to be tough to beat. We need to get Philadelphia at our building to have a chance to get to the Super Bowl this year.
Brent says we need an edge. You know, I would love to have Crosby, but we absolutely do not need an edge. You're telling, like, I'm excited about this win. It reminded me of this guy in the Lions Den last night. Right when we got done winning, he comes and starts asking me questions about what we're going to do with Goff. How are we going to be able to sign this guy? What are we going to do with the cap and stuff? I'm like, dude, we're 6-2. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do with Goff. I mean, at the end of the year, I mean, we got him signed. Like, chill, man. I want to enjoy this win for a second. I don't want to think about this cap constraints and all that stuff. Do we need an edge? I don't think we need an edge. We just sacked the quarterback 6 times. So we're getting pressure on the quarterback. But when you're a team like this, you need to have if you're going to go get a guy, you got to go get a guy like Mad Max. Send us Mad Max. Spend the money. Spend the capital. Send a first and a second round, 2 first-round picks, whatever you got to do. Get Max Crosby here. You've already got enough of the roster filled with young players that are on rookie deals. We're not going to be able to fit all these guys on here. So we're at a point now where it is like F those picks, because we just need to, I mean, you drop a couple of elite, top 5 at their position. That's what we need to be looking for. Chase Young, bring Chase Young here. Don't spend first-round picks on him, but go get an impact player like Chase Young. Go get Montez Sweat. Go and get Daniil Hunter. Rent him for the rest of the season. But do something, Brad. You can do this. I can smell what Brad Holmes is cooking. You got these smirks coming out of Allen Park, out of Dan Campbell going, well, you're going to ask Brad on that, man. You're going to have to ask Brad.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
And I tell you what, you bring in Mad Max Crosby to this defense,
we're gonna bite a kneecap off.
That's what I'm saying, man. So I'm hoping. What is on your dream list right here? Is it Patrick Surtain?
Yes.
Send a couple first-round picks over there and lock up Patrick Surtain, a lockdown corner?
No.
Oh, you got to send. No, here's the thing. You want these guys for F those picks. F those picks. It's going to cost a first-round pick and other picks to get these.
But I'm against 2 first-round picks for anyone. We see what it does to some franchises when it doesn't pan out.
Yeah, they win Super Bowls. It's called Jalen Ramsey, 2 first-round picks. It works. F those picks.
And Matt Stafford, a couple of first rounds. And now the Rams are they're not set up for future success, and that's not how Brad Holmes is operating.
But we are set up for future success right now. And you drop one of those big bombs not for first. You're right. For 2 first-round picks, that's a little much. But that's only for a player like Patrick Surtain that is on a deal where you could lock this guy up and he's young and he's part of your future. That's the only reason you would spend that. I would rather have Patrick Surtain than whatever I'm going to get at pick 32 next year. And 32 the year after that. Like, I'm sorry, but if we can get high-end talent, let's go. But they can
have a first and a third and Will Harris for Patrick Surtain II.
Okay. If you can work that deal, come on, Brad. Can you smell what Brad is cooking? That's what it takes for Main Event Mike to get that done. Let's get it done. That's a good deal. What if you had to give up Hendon Hooker for one of these guys? We talked about this a little bit last night. Like, I heard reports out there. I read a couple of articles that were talking like hypothetical trades. This is all bullshit, guys. But hypothetically, with them wanting to keep Goff, and you got, Hendon Hooker on this 4-year deal. Somebody offered you, like Max Crosby for like Hendon Hooker and a third. You see what I did there? Hooker and a third. Hooker and a third. Would you do it? They need to rebuild. But they already got Aiden O'Connell, so that probably wouldn't work. But hypothetically, would you trade?
Are we going to talk
Hooker?
about Are we going to talk about the other teams in this division, or are we just going to bask in the glow of our victory? Because
we're going to bask in the glow. We spent a half an hour. We can pivot. That's a good time. You want to hit some of these comments, and then we'll go into the other games right here.
Okay, whatever. Yep.
At Bear Down Mike says, they're not going to let. Hey, we're living in la la land here, Bear Down Mike. We understand. We were dreams, dream. At least it isn't. Because that's what it's like. If you want me to bring the pain in from the Packers. Do that right there. The Packers get destroyed by a team that just lost their starting quarterback. And that's why I put, like, if you look at my picture here, let me get my picture up here. If you look at my picture, you'll see that there's just an L right in the middle of the Viking and the Packers, because they both lost. The Packers really lost the game and their season with that. They can't think that they're really going to compete at this point in time with what they have. And yeah, even though Minnesota wins the game, you lost your starting quarterback. And I'm sorry.
You like that?
No, you don't like that.
It's my quarterback.
Because your quarterback was pretty freaking good. And you just lost your starting quarterback. And you have who is it? Jared Hall?
Jaron.
It's my quarterback.
Jaron Hall. Jaron Hall is coming in, and you guys, we got to see what we have in Jaron Hall. Okay, let's see what you have. Bears fans seem pretty excited about what's his name? Bajent, the secret Bajent man. Okay. Well, now that you know that both the quarterbacks aren't very good, Love isn't very good, you're going to figure out if Clifford's any good. Let's look at these PFF scores. We can do that. Let's secret Bajent man. Secret Bajent man. All right. For the Minnesota Vikings on offense, Kirk Cousins is your highest graded player at a 90.1. Sarah, did you hear me? I'm going to say it again. I want that to ring through there. Sarah, your highest graded player was Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
At a 90.1.
You like that?
That's elite. That's an elite quarterback putting up elite stats right there. Now, it is just against the trash Green Bay Packers. Your tight end, John Munt, 85.4. So not your first graded tight end, the one that you paid $15 million to.
17
million. Not your second highest paid tight end, which you're paying $8 million to, Josh Oliver. No, your $500,000 a year practice squad tight end, Johnny Munt, on his snaps at 85.4. Jaron Hall did play well on his 11 snaps at a 76.2. Jordan Addison had a good game. KJ Osborne, you guys don't need to hear the numbers. I'm just saying numbers. Russ is just saying numbers. But Kirk Cousins is your best player right now, and was your best player because he's out for the season. That sucks because you guys were at 4-4. We went through this last week, didn't we, Mike?
We did. And this week they go to Atlanta to play a Falcons team that's struggling also. Both teams 4-4. Originally, before the game last week, they were looking at this line as a Vikings -2. So the Vikings were going to be favored on the road against Atlanta. Now they come in 4.5-point underdog to the Atlanta Falcons. So going to be very interesting to see what Minnesota does to try to mitigate this loss. Kirk Cousins probably taking his last snap as a Viking. It's bittersweet as a Lions fan, because we're not sad to see him go, but I think a lot of Lions fans have a lot of respect for Kirk Cousins, for the way he plays the game, the way he approaches the game. And anybody who watched the quarterback series on Netflix this year, I don't care what team you're a fan of, you had to garner a little bit more respect for that man when you get a peek inside of his life.
And I don't want to go much more in, like, if you if there is a Green Bay Packer fan that's out there, like A-Dub or whatever, you don't want to know what these PFF scores are for your team. I'll just tell you that the top and the bottom aren't very far apart. Elgin Jenkins had the best game, and he had a 74. So it just wasn't a good game. You just didn't have a good game. Just look, your PFF scores aren't going to help you. So let's go into Chicago. We're looking at some of these scores. Tevin Jenkins was your highest grade. Bear down, Mike. Your highest graded guy at 77.5. Deontay Foreman, Cole Kmet, Evans, DJ Moore, Darnell Wright. They all had pretty good games. Cody Whitehair had a good game all the way down. So I think offensively, your team did okay. Your worst graded players were Velus Jones. I think that was well documented. Tyson Bagent didn't really have that good of a game as far as the score goes. Tyson Bagent came in at a 50.2, so that's not good.
Bears travel to New Orleans this week, a winnable game. Okay, Saints are tough, but they aren't that tough. Bears could win this game. Bears on the road against the Saints. They are a 7.5-point underdog. I think I like the Bears and the points on that one. I'm looking for the Bears to keep clawing, keep fighting, try to keep their coach's job intact. Tough loss in San Diego or Los Angeles, where they were completely dominated in that game, I thought.
On the defense last week, you had pretty good games out of your front seven: Zach Pickens, TJ Edwards, Justin Jones, Andrew Billings, Jalen Johnson, Jack Sanborn. All those guys had pretty good games, where you had guys that struggled in the game, like Elijah Hicks and Kyler Gordon didn't have a good game. DeMarcus Walker, Yannick didn't have a good game. He always gets torched on the run.
Yeah, he does.
Gerwin Dexter struggled. Tyreek Stevenson struggled. But it's all right. It's all right. It looks like you got player. If I'm a Bear fan, man, I'm looking at this like, the 3-year deal right here. You can figure out your quarterback situation before the end of this year, right? You got 2 first-round picks, and you got a core. There's a nice little core. You got some young players that actually play pretty good, like Jaquan Brisker. So you got some future stuff. Darnell Wright, he looks like he could be pretty good.
And Russ, I think that also this might be one of those situations where the PFF grade doesn't tell the whole story, because Tyreek Stevenson, the rookie corner from the University of Miami, had 11 tackles in this game. He's the second leading tackler on the team this week. And he played great in run support. He's long. He's disruptive in the back end. I thought he played really well when I watched the condensed version of the game. And then for you to hear you say that he had a low PFF grade is, it's one of those
let's dive deeper, because you say that. Let's dive even deeper. So on the run defense, you said he had a good run defense grade.
On some plays I saw, he was tough at the line of scrimmage.
So he did have a good run defense grade at a 68.5 run defense grade, and as a tackler, he was pretty good too at a 67.9. Now in coverage is where he slipped up a little bit, which probably lowered, because you're going to be graded harsher on what you do in coverage than what you would, it's kind of like a running back. If they have a really, really good receiving grade, it doesn't help their overall grade as much because they're not a receiver. So with him being a good tackler, obviously that's part of the grade. But him stopping the run, that's part of the grade, but it's not as big of a part as coverage is. So as in coverage, he struggled a little bit, but in run support, and he did have a good game. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's cool that we can do that. We can do that with any player too, because they do break it down and compartmentalize, right? Because when you're looking at this, it's the rush defense, pass rush, coverage, total defense, running defense, tackling. You know, you have all these different metrics that you can break down within PFF, which is why you can make cases. It's really kind of funny. You could really make anybody look good or bad.
Right. And the last team in this division playing this week while the Lions are on bye is, of course, the Packers. They're at home against the Rams. The Packers are a 3-point favorite. And the reason they're a 3-point favorite is looking like Matthew Stafford will not play. Again, those damn Green Bay Packers luck out. I mean, it's been a stroke of luck every game for these guys. You know, Kamara didn't play when they played the Saints, right? They've just had a line. Everything just seems to line up for them, and they still are not getting it done at a 2-5 record. So they'll be at home against the Rams, and they will be a 3-point favorite. I don't even know who the backup is now for the Rams, the backup quarterback. I know they let Stetson Bennett go in training camp, so I don't even know who their backup is that's going to face the Packers. If you know, let us know. Put it in the comments. Let us know what you think about this Rams-Packers game. This is a game the Packers should be able to win. The Rams just got rolled over by the Dallas Cowboys last week, so they're going to be another tough road game. Going into Lambeau's tough. I don't care. Even when the team is down, it's a tough place to play. What do we got in the comments here? Jeremy B.
I went and I sought out Jeremy B's comment. I looked through all the comments to make sure that there wasn't anything that I wasn't posting up here of Jeremy B's right here. But he's asking a question, which I think is really, really important, which is I want you guys to ask questions on this show. And it makes our lives easier like this. Right. But how do you feel about that in-game report about Shefty shooting down the trade talk?
I didn't hear much of it because we were in the Lions Den partying down. I do know that he was on the screen talking with a sweet Michigan helmet in the background and a sweet Tom Brady bobblehead on the shelf. But I don't know what he was saying about it, Jeremy. Maybe you can enlighten us. Put that in the comments. Was he shooting down the trade talk of Max Crosby? Because that makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That is me, and I am going to throw the link into the comments right there in case Jeremy does want to come on or somebody wants to come on and talk today, because we feel pretty good about this win and we want to be able to talk about it. And I'm sorry, this is football talk, but the Lions played football last night and nobody else did. So we did talk about the other two teams in nauseum yesterday and not much other than the game review at the end or the preview. So we can talk about these Lions. We can talk about whatever you want, really. You want to put it into the comments? You want to ask a question? Bear Down Mike says that Jalen Johnson is requesting a trade. Tells me that Poles is not doing his damn job. This is a lockdown cornerback and a leader on this defense. Pay the man.
Mm-hmm. That would be a great pickup for the Lions.
Jalen Johnson, yeah. Brent says Green Bay has been having the easiest schedule. Mm-hmm. It is, and they keep losing.
Mm-hmm. And right from the very beginning, when the schedule came out in May, that was the one thing we looked at was, wow, were these scheduler makers easy on Green Bay? We knew Kamara was going to have a 3-game suspension and they get him in the 3rd game. We knew the Bears were going to be struggling coming out of the gate and they get the Bears in the 1st game. So, yeah, a lot of things lining up for the Packers. And now this is just stroke of luck that when they do get the Rams, Matthew Stafford probably won't play.
Well, here comes our favorite South Florida Tribune writer and Smoking Jeremy B. Welcome to the program.
Welcome to the program.
How's everybody doing today?
Oh, we can hear you now. Sounds great, Jeremy. How are you?
Yeah, Shefty came out and he was asked specifically by Scott Van Pelt about any trade talks with Raiders and Lions and anything else. And he said neither team are looking to make a room. There has been no trade talks with either teams that have been confirmed.
Okay. But what do you expect the Lions to do?
Exactly what I said. Either get a vet minimum free agent or end up getting somebody through off of poaching someone's practice squad, because they've done very well doing this the last 2 years, bringing in somebody late that can help this team.
If you were Brad Holmes, you'd be better looking. But if you were Brad Holmes, what position would you poach off a practice squad? What are you looking for?
A cornerback that can add depth, and there's a few out there. We need depth in that cornerback room because injuries have hampered us. Mosley's out for the season. Jerry Jacobs is playing well. Brian Branch does great at that nickel, but if somebody goes down, we have to see Will Harris on the field again, who is so bad in burnt toast that he makes burnt toast look like Wonder Bread.
I got some breaking news, I think, right here, because it says it literally came out on Pride of Detroit 2 minutes ago. Bears are trading for Washington edge Montez Sweat.
Wow.
And a bit of surprise, the 2-6 Bears are sending a 2024 second-round draft pick for Sweat. Chicago does have a bevy of draft picks. Sweat is 27 years old on the final year of his deal. Clearly, Chicago expects to give him an extension. Nice job.
Because the Bears had the cap room to afford the hit for Sweat, who's on his second contract. That's the biggest thing. Brad, we don't have that cap room, and there's only 3 things we can do to make cap room. And the first one makes absolutely about as much sense as wiping your butt and taking a crap. That's trading away Goff to clear $25 million. We're not doing that while we're leading the division in a top 4 team in the NFL according to power rankings right now. We're also not going to go ahead and restructure Decker until he's 40 years old to be able to afford to clear enough cap room off of his contract. And we're not going to restructure Rags because that doesn't clear up cap room till going forward, but it costs us in the long run.
So we can't afford any of these big name free agents.
Yes, because we only have $6.3 million in cap room after the Marvin Jones leaving. At $6.3 million, and all these cap hits for the remainder of the season on $20 million cap contracts is over $10 million. So we would have to clear up a crap load of space. Romeo Aquara costs us $10 million if you trade him away, because he just restructured and it's a $10 million dead cap hit. The dead cap hit never goes down for what the dead cap is in a trade. That's what a lot of people don't realize. The dead cap does not go down.
Right. Okay, but it is feasible, though, Jeremy, that the Lions could pick up somebody on an expiring contract for the rest of the year, and then in the offseason rework some deals, make some cuts, and re-sign that player, right?
Yeah, there's not much to cut, though. We have 85% of our roster on rookie deals that cost more than their salary.
You're just making that number up. It's not 85%, though.
85% of this roster is rookie deals.
Okay, Jeremy, I trust you. It's our friend Jeremy Ballreich. He's a writer for the South Florida Tribune, and we've got him on the show. We're talking about Lions. Trade deadline today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. What will the Lions do? Now that you got this information from Jeremy, really, we don't have much room. Give me some scenario where we could, Jeremy, make a splash move. Isn't there any way that we could acquire somebody to make a playoff run?
There's a young corner that just got cut by the Steelers. There's Desmond King. There's also, let's say you want to get somebody to let Dre Bly coach up, like Jerry Jacobs and everybody else who's been cast off by 2 different teams. There's Greedy Williams out there.
Yeah.
There's also the vet guys that I've said all along for the D-line. There's Sue.
You think $6.8 million you can get Sue?
I think you can get Sue for less than that. He signed for $3 million last year with the Phillies on a playoff push team. We're a playoff push team.
That doesn't have a sour taste in your mouth the way he treated us, though, on his way out?
No, because he took the deal where he got actually $1.3 million more with no income tax in Florida. That's what everybody forgets about. Florida has no income tax. So by him getting $143,000 more on his cap hit is actually a $1.1 million raise
in his pocket.
Right. Per year.
Right. That's a great call out. But I just don't like the guy. I don't want him back here. I think he's a culture killer. in my opinion.
He's been
It
in
just-
3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, winning
Yeah.
and on a winning team with one of them.
Yeah, because that's the only thing he'll do. That's all he wants. He wants to just keep on jumping from team to team. He's Kevin Durant.
And every time he jumps on a team, the defensive line plays better.
Well, he didn't win a Super Bowl last year, and I was glad to see that.
Yeah, we all knew that Philly was going to have trouble with the Chiefs, though.
If Philadelphia picks up Aaron Donald like it's rumored to be, does that put them over the top?
Well, with Jalen Carter missing some significant time after that injury Sunday, yes, it does help them a lot. But the problem is they've got to clear up $12 million in cap space before they can afford them. The only team that has cap space that can afford to make a big splash for anybody like Devontae Adams or Max Crosby, it's the team we don't want to make that move because they just fell behind us in the standings. That's San Francisco 49ers because they have $47 million in cap space.
Well, I was just looking through over the cap here. I was just trying to find a scenario, and Jeremy is, I would say 85% right when it comes to where they're kind of strapped on the cap, like to make a big move. But if they were to make a big move, they would, for one, to make it happen, like you would have to send somebody like Romeo, Charles. You would have to send a guy back to counteract that $5-6 million because they're already getting these guys on a deal.
But
so
Romeo
you might have
has a $10 million dead cap hit this year.
Well, that doesn't. I mean,
that doesn't matter because if he only has a $2 million salary after restructuring, that's an $8 million cap hit loss, which would actually put us over the cap and can't afford anybody.
So cap number is $5 million for Romeo, $5 million for Charles. You would have to move these guys. I mean, you would have to move that salary to make it. So for somebody like Daniil Hunter, that would probably be now that he said this is probably the only real option because you got a guy they would have to pay some of the salary. Obviously, they'd be paying half of that salary. He's played half the season, and then you would have to make the money work, but we wouldn't have enough outright because we have a lot of good players on this team that have nice contracts. So getting rid of them is not really going to help us all that much.
So Jeremy, Russ brings up a good point there. If we were to get the other team to pay a portion of the salary, do you think that's an option the Lions could explore to try to get an impact player? And part two of this question, do the Lions absolutely need an impact player on defense to get to the promised land?
Well, you think about it, our best situational pass rusher from last year should be coming off the IR right after the bye week, which is James Houston. So that's somebody to put on the opposite side of Hutch in those passing down situations.
Okay.
So we have that. We also have other players possibly coming back shortly after the bye. CJGJ did not require surgery. Even though he's not trending to be ready by week 10, he should be back on the field before the playoffs because of how he's trending with his rehab. And that's another piece that makes that secondary even better.
So he did not have the pec muscle surgically repaired?
No, it was a clean tear. It was able to heal on its own.
I heard it was a clean tear, and I thought that was going to, the report I saw said that's going to make repairing it easier, but they didn't even do the surgery.
No, he's been actually rehabbing and lifting weights already. He's been posting videos about it on social media. He's been at the training facility working with the rehab trainers because he's not a suspension. He's none of that. He just can't be on the practice field unless it's just there to support the players on the field.
And that's why we love having you on the show, Jeremy, because that's great information. This is the kind of thing Brad Holmes knows this stuff, right? And CJGJ is the kind of impact player that I'm talking about. So if we can get him back before a playoff run, that's awesome. What do we got, Russ?
I love that. I love that we have so much depth. And, this is a dream, but we have a dream scenario, right? Until 4:00, something magical could happen in the land of fairy tale land. And thanks for smacking us back down to reality, Jeremy. Yeah. but it's okay, though. Like, this is something I wanted to pump the brakes. I'm pumping the brakes. This team is good, guys. Like, we just won a game like completely decimated on the offensive line side, and Hank Fraley pieced it together, dude.
What
He
about
can't
what about
deserve much
Jameer
credit.
Gibbs? What about Jameer Gibbs? He had almost as many yards rushing as the entire offense of the Raiders had positively.
There you go. Where's John Dorn at? We can't. Yeah.
Wait, the guy that's still talking on Facebook and a six pack into his drunken state.
Oh, they're
It don't count. Like I can't take the NFC North, the huddle. I can't take them serious anymore, other than to take joke posts from them, because they went and they hid in that little group right there, and they're the keyboard tough guys of their own little group now. But they ghosted us on a show and they threw us off. Doesn't that mean we win?
Fans ever.
Doesn't that mean we win?
We win.
That's how trash talk works.
That's why it's the couch sessions, because we used to say don't bring your feelings. Now we say it's okay to bring your feelings. We'll let you on a show. It's gonna be okay, but it won't.
And Jordan Miho is exactly right. Any homes made before the deadline should not be questioned, including the lack thereof.
Right.
I said, this is the thing. The lack thereof might speak volumes more to what they think of this roster than what the fans think of this roster.
Right.
I mean, this team, the San Francisco 49ers, that's so much better than us. They're a 3-loss team now. I'm not buying the bullshit from the outside anymore. This is a Super Bowl contending Lions team that is starting to get healthy. Our impact players that were just drafted are starting to figure out how to play football. And I mean, look out as these guys are ascending.
Who's leading the NFC North in rushing yards now after that big game?
Not the Green Bay Packers.
Not the Minnesota Vikings. Not the Chicago Bears. It's the Detroit Lions and Jameer Gibbs.
And
they are who we thought they were.
And unquestionably, we have the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, especially with that injury happening to Kurt. Nobody wanted to see that happen to Kirk Cousins. I don't care who you are, what fan base you play for. If you applaud that injury when it happened, you're a shitty fan.
Yeah, you're a douchebag person, that's for sure.
Now, for the future going forward, Kurt being out definitely helps the Lions basically shut the door on the rest of the NFC North, because he was looking like that team was the only one that was going to give us a fight for the division.
See, and then Jeremy puts an asterisk in there. We're done with the asterisks, man.
No, I'm not.
We would have whooped him with Kirk.
But I also said by mid-season, that defense, regardless of talent, would start playing better because of Brian Flores. It is.
You're right.
It is.
And
I already ate my crow on that, right. Jeremy.
I know, but I said he's one hell of a coach. It's going to start out rough. It's going to look ugly for him. But by mid-season, that defense will come into form, and it happened.
Do you think the Vikings make a play for a quarterback?
I've heard a rumor saying it was Jameis Winston. And I was like, God, why do you want to get worse than Jaron Hall?
well, I don't know. I like Colt McCoy. I think that's a good.
I think he's a free agent. That's somebody they could pick up, and it cost them peanuts because he's not a starting caliber quarterback, and they don't have a lot of cap room right now. And that's another reason why they may not move Danielle Hunter, because Danielle Hunter's contract, the dead cap is more than they have available in cap space. So whoever's going to trade for him is going to have to give up some money situation.
I love that call of Jameson Winston, who's actually rostered. He's the second backup quarterback in New Orleans. That I hadn't heard that yet, but as I start to wrap my head around it,
morning, and it was a rumor.
Well, that might be a great pickup, because when you compare him to Colt McCoy, I think Colt McCoy is a better quarterback all around, but Jameis Winston has a much bigger arm. And when you look at JJ coming back off of injury and Jordan Addison, the rookie's playing lights out right now. Jordan Addison turns out to be the real freaking deal. I owe an apology from draft day to all Vikings fans because the kid's looking like the real deal. And I think Jameis Winston, as I start to wrap my head around it, seems like a good fit in Minnesota. If you're a Viking fan out there, then you're probably wearing purple. Put it in the comments. Do you think Jameis Winston would look good in purple?
Sarah Zong says we're not trading for Winston, but the report came out is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's facts. I said there was a rumor. Rumors are rumors. If you're going to report all the rumors about Detroit and all the rumors about Green Bay and all the rumors about the Bears, you have to report the rumors about the Vikings too.
Right.
And here's Bear Down Mike, your last comment right here that at 11:53 was we need a big time edge rusher. Well, my friend, if you didn't hear,
you got one. Because that's broke by Adam Shefty that the trade is done.
It is a done deal right there. The Bears are trading for Montez Sweat. Edge rusher right there. I'm sure that you guys are going to give him a big fat extension too because you got all that money. So there you go. Congratulations to Bear Down Mike. Your team is making big moves at the trade deadline.
Kudos to Ryan Poles.
Yeah. But Jalen Johnson's still asking for a trade today. Boggles my mind when they just got Montez Sweat.
I'm looking at. Oh, they didn't send him over there too. Yeah.
No, it said a second rounder is what they got Sweat for, which is a great deal. But he's a $20 million guy with about $12 million left on the contract for the rest of the season. Seeing how there's still more games to be played than just a half a season. There's 9 games to be played, so it's a great move for them. I think it's going to help them out immensely because that D-line needed the help.
So when's the earliest that you think that that we could have what's his name available? CJGJ, or I don't even know what his name is now.
CD Deuce. You know, it sounds like what you'd name that Labrador that ate Chong's stash and up in smoke.
You like that?
I'm just saying.
Hey, man, what's this week called, man? Let's go Labrador.
And nobody wants Kyler Murray.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Especially now that Modern Warfare is out, there's a reason why Josh Dobbs is starting over him, even though he's been cleared to play for 2 weeks. That guy doesn't know how to read a play. Modern Warfare's out.
I love that. I got to jump off, Russ. I'm going to leave you and Jeremy B here to hash out the rest of it. I'm going to plug the show before I go.
You can do that.
Every Monday night, it's the NFC North Open Mic Night. We're in there with all 4 fan bases, supposedly. Come and see us on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. NFC North Open Mic. Thanks for having me, guys. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween to you. There you go, man. Oh, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate the people that's subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you're looking at this right now and you can see Jeremy B's face, why don't you hit that like button? Because I know that you like it.
You like that?
If you're watching this program right now, you have to like football. There's no other reason for you to watch.
Literally is right under my finger. You can see it right there, the like button.
The like button is there. It helps us, and it's free. And I have a lot of free in my pocket right now, and I'm hoping that you do that free thing for me. So as I invite Sarah to the program. Happy Halloween, Sarah.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I do not want us to sign anybody or draft anybody, or trade for anybody. We need to save that draft capital for the draft coming up. So the only person who knows our playbook is going to be Jaron Hall. And so roll with him, whether it goes good or not. Or if we roll with him, we're either going to get a high draft pick, or we're going to find out what his future is going to be with the team, what he has. So it's a win-win situation.
I like that call now for you. I mean, now that Kirk's gone, and, I was trying to talk off the ledge last week when we were going through these wins. If you had Kirk Cousins, I actually believe that Minnesota had a chance to rattle off 5 of 6, or maybe even all 6 of these games that are coming up. But I don't know if you guys can get it done with Jaron Hall. All of a sudden, Atlanta looks pretty tough.
It's okay if we don't.
But
Single Dad's Club loves the fact I brought up the Labrador statement. And
But
Steve is real. He says, I'm here and hit the like button at the beginning of the show. And oh, dang, we riled up Sarah. I'm sorry I riled you up. I was just
Oh no, you didn't
reporting the
rile me
rumors.
up. I'm
just reporting the
saying.
rumors that are out there is that that's the two names that I'm hearing the most going to Minnesota is either a trade for Jameis Winston or signing Colt McCoy.
No, you didn't rile me up. I'm just saying, like, no, I would like be upset if they did any of that, because what is Jameis gonna do coming here? He doesn't know the playbook. It's gonna take him 2-3 weeks. By that time, we're gonna have a losing record anyways. So what was the point of wasting a draft pick?
Well, Colt McCoy not knowing the playbook is going to be better than Jaron Hall knowing the playbook. I like the move of Colt McCoy because it doesn't cost you draft capital. You can sign him. And
right. He's a free agent. That was
well,
our
I wouldn't
point,
be opposed to bringing him in as the backup to Jaron Hall, but I want to have.
He'd be a backup for a week. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, you got to give the kid a chance to play because you drafted him. What's the point of drafting him if you're not going to give him a chance?
That also tells me Justin is gone at the end of the season since Chase and Justin played at Ohio State together. That means it's Badgett time the rest of the year, boys.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I don't know what you guys are going to do in there at the quarterback, but I you got to love the draft situation, though. I mean, but you got to hit on some of these draft picks sooner or later.
Well, our 2023 draft picks have been pretty well. I mean, on Sunday, our third round cornerback played really well against the Packers.
Let me look here, see who you're talking about.
Blackman?
I'll find him in here. I got the PFF scores, and we don't live and die by these, but it definitely gives you a good gauge where you can look at some. Where the hell did it go? Okay, there it is.
So, is everybody okay with the 12th pick overall in the draft of Jahmyr Gibbs at 26 carries for 152 yards and a tutty?
Oh yeah, look at Blackman. Yeah, I mean, if not, I was wondering where John Dorn's bust talk was. I wonder if what he's making up now that's a bad take. It's like here we are, all of our draft picks, our top 5 draft picks look like they may be Pro Bowl level type of players, at least, if not even maybe even all pro. So
Fred Peterson replies to Sarah, "That's against the Packers. Sorry, Sarah, they are not good on either side of the ball." That is true.
But you can only play who is in front of you. So I mean, you know.
And Bear Down Mike said Baker learned the playbook on the plane ride to LA for the Rams, but that at the same time, that playbook of Sean McVay's is very similar to Kevin Stefanski's, including the verbiage they use because they came out of the same coaching tree.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point right there. But Sarah just wants to see it start over. You know, that we want to. We're taking this new regime. You know, you want to keep the good guys. You know, you got your Hawkinson. You re-signed Justin Jefferson,
Jordan Meal.
How did Blackman do? What was his grade?
Gibbs was a reach, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, Gibbs was a reach. It was called the guys were reaching to try to tackle him, but he ran in for touchdowns anyway. So, okay.
2 weeks in a row.
And really, you know, here's a guy that ran for 150 yards, but Jordan still says that he's a reach. So, okay. Good. I mean, really, you put a clown thing on there. That should be for your own. I mean,
I think he's saying that's what other fan bases are saying about it.
It's like whoever would say that is a clown. He's probably talking about John Dorn. He has to be talking about John Dorn.
He has to be. Sarcasm.
Yep. He must be talking about John Dorn.
And the rest of the clowns in the NFC North huddle that are saying bad.
Like a clown?
About,
Like we amuse you? We make you laugh?
Am I here to make you laugh? Jordan Miho nailed it.
That one was he was going out there for John Dorn right there. Yeah, it looks pretty good right now. I'm glad you could kind of see it last week in Baltimore. that he was starting to, figure out his angles on, where he makes his cut. This kid on the second level, Jeremy, is special when
And
he.
what was the biggest difference in the last 2 weeks that we saw out of Gibbs that he didn't do prior to this? He learned the twitch to change direction prior to hitting the hole, just like David Montgomery does. That's
Right.
why when he hits that hole, the people are biting in the opposite direction, which opens that hole through the line.
It was really, really nice to see, like, having a running back again, and there's only been one other one that's like this, that when this guy runs into a bunch of people, you're just like, and that he might just come squeaking out the bottom end, and all of a
Didn't he
sudden
do that
he's
like
running
5
down the
times
field.
this game?
It's like, there's only one other running back from Detroit that's ever been like that, and I don't want to say that he's like that, but it's that reminded me. It reminded me of what Barry used to do, where you're just praying in that hole. You're like, oh, I can't see what's going on. Oh, there goes Barry. Like
primetime yards.
Oh God, I had flashbacks.
Top 5,
it was good.
Top 5 in Lions history, pointed out on Good Morning Football. The first one was Barry Sanders with 202 yards versus that Philadelphia team in midseason last year. Later, 3 years into Barry's career, was 182 yards.
Right.
Guess who's third on that list right now? In Lions primetime performances all time. Jahmyr Gibbs with 152.
Wow.
And the last two was Herman Moore and Barry Sanders again.
Gibbs is better than Bijan. And here's the thing. As a runner, I think that they're really close. I think that they're both very, very good at running in between the tackles. And I think they're about this. They're almost identical. Where Gibbs gets him is the weapon part, where he can receive like a wide receiver. That's where he is light years better. And going to bear down Mike's, I don't think that it has anything to do with the situation. Gibbs can catch the ball and run the ball in any situation. I think what you're alluding to here is what's going to actually translate into stats. Yeah, I think that Gibbs will finish the season with better stats. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a better player. It just means.
No, I want to refute something that Single Dads Club said with the next comment. Everyone was
right here.
Bijan was better, but you gotta admit there was a report just before the draft that came out on NFL Network where 15 GMs in the NFL said that Gibbs was a better prospect overall than Bijan.
Right.
And 3 of them were people who picked right after us in this draft.
Sorry about that.
Calvin Johnson is not on the top 5 for primetime performances by a Lion.
Right. Yeah,
he
broke out.
They showed it on Good Morning Football. Calvin Johnson's biggest games came at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
Right.
I've been meaning to correct you guys because it's been irritating me for like a couple weeks now. But our nose tackle, you guys keep calling him Jacqueline. It's not Jacqueline. It's Jaquelin.
Oh, Jaquelin.
Yeah.
Jaquelin
Every time
Roy
I come on here, I forget
out
to
of
correct
LSU.
you guys. Huh?
Jaquelin
Roy from LSU, that guy?
Yeah. No, they just keep calling him Jacqueline. I'm like, it's not Jacqueline.
No, they like to pronounce like Danielle is pronounced Danielle. They like
Danielle
to do that.
Hunter.
It's kind of a sarcasm.
It may or may not be on purpose, but yes, thank you.
There is nothing womanly about Danielle.
Danielle Hunter. I'll start calling him Danielle. I wouldn't do it to his face, though.
None of us would. None of us would.
Oh, Vikings move on from Cousin now or next season. They will more than likely be hurting for the best at least half of the season.
And that's
or
okay.
At best. Yeah.
No, the top 5 according to Good Morning Football. It was Barry Sanders, Jahmyr Gibbs, Herman Moore, Barry Sanders. It's top 5. I'm not talking about top 10. Talking top 5.
Said give Gibbs another couple games like last night. I'd say Gibbs is better than Robinson. But does it really matter? I mean, what you're really looking for, you got they picked a guy that's going to be their franchise running back. And now we picked a guy that's going to be our franchise running back. And that's cool. You know, it's nice to hit on picks that are playing on the team, because you can call them reaches or whatever. But at the end of the day, if your 6th round pick plays and makes an impact on your team, then he's just as important as the 1st round pick. Doesn't matter.
Ask Packer fans if they'd rather have Luke Musgrave or Brian Branch right now.
Right. Or
if you look at like all our division, all the 1st round draft picks, the only one that's not panning out is Packers.
Jordan Love.
Van Ness.
And Van Ness. Van Ness is a situational pass rusher who over pursues in the run game, which is exactly what Rashawn Gary is. And I said that was a mistake. They needed a run stuffer DN to be opposite Gary.
Why would you waste a 1st round pick on a prospect? You know?
Well, I mean, he's one hell of a he's in it. I mean, chiseled like a Greek god. That's what they said. He's a physical specimen. You teach him a little bit, you get him a little bit of NFL coaching. That was what was sold. And,
but your team needs help now. Your team doesn't need to use a 1st draft pick on somebody to develop. Your team needs help now.
Hey, Sarah, we had Matt Millen. We know what bad GMing is all about, okay?
Matt Millen, Martin Mayhew, Boob Quinn.
No, I'm just saying, like, it made no sense to me that they wasted that pick on him, because a 1st rounder is supposed to come in right away and be able to help your team right away. And when you're spending a 1st rounder on somebody who is a project, that's a waste of a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
Right.
We kind of did the same thing with Jameson Williams. I mean, call it what it is. He's a developmental player.
Yeah, so did we with Sean. So I guess our trade with you guys both didn't work out. Our trade and your trade.
Right. I mean, Sean has missed time as well with injuries and everything else. So, and he hasn't really panned out. And you think he would with a guy like Harrison Smith guiding him next to him.
Well, the thing is, he's buried behind Bynum and Metellus, you know, and they're playing really good. That they're not going to lose their spots to Sean.
Single Dads Club, Behan was never called a bust because he started right away. Everybody was calling Gibbs a bust because he wasn't starting. And nor should he have, as long as Monty's healthy. If you look at the production, when Monty's healthy, the breakdown was exactly what I said. Monty was getting 80% of the carries. Gibbs was getting 20%. He'd never equal that production.
Well, some people can't go back on their takes. You know, like they had a certain way they felt about a player during the process of drafts, and then they just can't like let it go that, okay, I was wrong. And you can say it with me. It's okay to be like, okay, I was wrong about that. I am not the truth in all of football knowledge, and I was wrong on this player. I now know what the right answer is. But none of us really know at the beginning of the season. We all just make guesses. You know, I guessed that the Vikings would be the worst team in the division. They wouldn't even win a division game, and here they are. They're 2-0 into the division. I was wrong. It happens. But you know, we look at these guys, and you say Bijan's better. That you have that pumped into your head for like 3 months straight. Bijan's the best running back in the draft, and then wow, somebody else came out and was really good too. So,
I mean, if you want to get realistic, if he didn't get hurt, the best running back of this draft was Devin Achane for the Dolphins.
Sure. I mean, he ran
206 yards in one game.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, if you're really, really fast and you find a big hole and you're able to run 70 yards in a straight line really, really fast, that you're not really impressing me all that much. When I watched Gibbs run and his short little movements that he has and the things that he can do in small spaces, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, no one predicted A-Chain or Puka would turn out the way they are turning out, you know, because I'm sure if people would have seen it, Puka would have been drafted in the first round.
For what he provided, Fred Peterson, you say the last time the Lions drafted a bust in the first round, Lake and Tomlinson, you can throw T.J. Hawkinson for what he did for the Lions in that mix too. Because our backup tight ends last year had more touchdowns for us than T.J. Hawkinson did by week 8.
And top 10 picks, to be honest, like
They bust a lot.
you have to put them on a higher spot, because if you have a top 10 pick, you need to be picking guys that are top 10 at their position. You have to. So that's your average. And under those rules, yeah, I believe that TJ Hawkinson was a bust for us.
Well, didn't you guys draft, what's that? Okuda? He went top 3, right?
Then Okuda went top 3, and we traded him away.
Yeah.
And he's actually been playing decent as a CB2 for Atlanta Falcons now that he's healthy.
But he was a bust as a
he was a bust here because he was more injured than played. I mean, that call it for what it was. He missed a season and a half.
Players just need a new scenery to do well.
Exactly.
There you go.
Just Bustin Fields might be better somewhere else.
Well, anybody would. I mean, that's not a very nice run organization over there yet. They're still trying to figure out their trifecta. You may have a good guy in Ryan Poles, but he needs to find a coach like that he believes in, because Eberflus is messing up your game right now.
Why are you calling him Eberflus? I gave you his name weeks ago.
Eberfluk.
It's Everlose.
Everlose.
Where did he come from again?
A losing organization, probably.
Where did Eberflus come from, or how did they find him?
Eberlose.
Who is
he? Eberfluk.
Yeah. Then you got Matt LaFluke up there in Green Bay land.
No, they've been calling him Matt LaFraud.
I've been calling him Matt LaFluke ever since he couldn't beat Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that's it. Main Event Mike was coming on here every day and reminding. I don't even know where the day marker is. I might have to put up another meme today about whatever day it is, how many days it's been.
Got to be like 922 or some shit like that.
Yeah, we're getting close, and I know that if we win on Thanksgiving, we're going over 1,000.
It's 3 years.
That's
acknowledge me.
That's right. Acknowledge me. Where the new kings of the North right here. Now, it's not official until we take the crown from the Minnesota Vikings, because they're the defending champions, but it doesn't look like that's going to end very well for them unless Jaron Hall turns into the next guy.
And I said, you never know. I mean, Brady, Prescott, Cousins, Purdy, they all became who they are because their team gave them a chance. And so we owe it to give this kid a chance.
I want to give my flowers to our 3rd round pick, Broderick Martin, who only played 10 snaps, but was there when Walker got his sack, was there for both of the sacks that Aleem McNeil got, and also on every play where Josh Jacobs was either hit at the line or behind the line, because he ate up 2 to 3 old linemen every play, opening up everybody else. Give a shout out to Broderick Martin.
Well, let me go see where he's at right here. I'm curious to see.
He had nothing on the stat sheet because all he did was eat up blockers.
Well, he had a 68 grade on his tackling.
Yeah.
I mean, PFF wasn't very kind to him, but it was his first game, and he's just supposed to eat people, right?
That's what he is. He's eating up the guys, and if he breaks through, if they don't put 2 or 3 guys on him, that 340-pounder is going to kill quarterbacks this year.
Kill the quarterback right there as we bring in Steve is real. Yeah.
I just wanted to make that a point because 52 of the offensive snaps the Raiders had, they had Burrito Jones, who was wrapped up by the left guard or center on every play like a hot tortilla.
Welcome to the program, Steve. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
We're 6-2. We're feeling on cloud 9. We're like on a magic carpet ride right now.
Well, God bless you. I don't know if you guys know this or heard of this, but I guess Minnesota is working out a deal to trade for famous Jameis Winston.
Yep.
No!
I told you, Sarah.
God.
I'm on this other draft trade thing on my television as I'm on the phone with you guys, and the dude is sitting there saying that they are basically working out a deal to trade for Jameis Winston.
I don't know. I I'll believe it when it happens.
Right, right.
Yeah, this is a Packer fan we're talking to.
Well,
so
well, hey, I can.
we
Hey,
can't be trusting everything that comes out of your mouth,
Did I-
Steve.
Did
I
I
I
not say the
understand.
same thing a half hour ago?
right. I heard you say that because I've been on the show since it started,
Yes,
and
yes.
and everything, and then I heard all you guys saying. Then I went on this other guy's talking about the trades, and he said, "Wow, this just coming in happening that Minnesota, I guess, is working out a deal to make a trade for Jameis Winston."
And
Hey.
he has insider information.
Yeah, it's one of the guys that is one of the NFL trade rumor insider guys.
There you
I-
go.
It's
What do
gonna
you think
piss off the
Jameson
fan
Winston
base.
is worth? I mean,
A bag of chips and a small fountain pop.
what do you? I mean, honestly, what do you think that they would get for? Was that a 5? I mean, 7? They swapped in
somewhere between
7th
the
round
5.
picks,
It'd be a day 3 pick at most for him.
right?
Because now here's a funny thing. I'll let you Lion fans. There was a Lions fan on here making a quote saying that Minnesota should make a trade with Detroit for Hendon Hooker.
No, I mean that makes no sense.
I mean,
Right.
especially with Hendon Hooker having an $11 million dead cap hit over his $1 million salary because it's a rookie contract.
The only way
Yeah.
I would maybe accept that trade for Winston is if we throw in Madison with it.
And I'll let you guys know the thing. It's Dan Mitchell, whatever. It's a sleeper podcast that I'm listening to.
They got to take Madison with that trade. Then maybe I will I don't know. I guess.
Because
But
That's all right.
Madison being thrown in might be the deal breaker.
You know, I hate these in between days like this right here because we run our show at 11 o'clock, and this if something does happen, like I'm too lazy, I ain't coming on here. Jeremy will probably break it on his show, but we'll talk about it tomorrow when we come on here in the Hump Day show.
What's weird is because I do that nighttime show, and the paperwork is turned in by 4 p.m. And there's quietly a lot of these smaller trades that nobody sees, and they break throughout the night because the paperwork finally gets processed because it was submitted before 4 p.m.
Well, what do you guys think about
watching
Williams
Madison run
going to
is just
Seattle?
so frustrating. Especially he couldn't run against that putrid Green Bay run defense. I was like, oh my God, get him out of
Who
here.
was it that broke out a little bit in that game? I
That
can't
was
remember.
Akers.
Yeah, Akers. Cam Akers.
Acres.
Hey,
A fantasy
speaking of which,
team
I got a
likes
signed
that.
mini helmet of his from when he was with the Rams. I
Oh.
also got a signed Justin Jefferson. Why? Because I'm an NFL fan. I'm a fan of players, not other teams.
I like that. You like that? I want to bring A-Dub on before I let everybody go because it's 12:30, and but A-Dub's waiting. What's going on, A-Dub? How you doing?
What's up, people?
We're on a magic carpet ride.
I
But
can only
we're
imagine.
feeling good.
We just put a
Yeah, I can
dragon
only
in front of the
imagine.
gates of the NFC North and said, "Try to get it."
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
good.
guarantee one thing that will happen: Green Bay won't do shit.
Right.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be the
We're gonna
ultimate.
bite a kneecap off.
That would be the plan since this is a developmental year for the team.
Right.
Yep.
But at the same time, I would bring up there was a rumor that I just read on a certain post that was out that perhaps Green Bay was in trade discussions before with the Eagles that involves them likely trading away Devondre Campbell.
Oh, wow. The Eagles are just trying to buy. Here's the thing. This is what I was like. This type of thing, Jeremy, is like you're very good at constructing the cap and figuring out what people can and can't do. But then the Eagles just come in and be like, "What? 20 million over the cap? Yeah, let's sign 3 max players."
But they
How the
actually
hell
still
do they
have,
do that?
they still have $15 million in salary because they have a lot of rookie contracts. Whereas we have a bunch. We have like 20 million in dead cap. 16 million of it came from the Michael Brockers and Jeff Okuda trade.
Right. Yeah, you have to get out from underneath of those bad contracts, And I think that he has trimmed off all of the fat. This is going to be the first offseason that the Lions have ever been through in my lifetime where they're, to me, a draft like overage. Like we have more contracts that are coming back next year with, like offensive linemen that are signed for 3 years, defensive backs, rookie contracts. Where are we going to put these draft picks, Jeremy? Like, I mean, they're going to have to make the team, right?
We may have to have some draft picks actually hit the practice squad and sign less people to the practice squad.
Right.
That's the crazy thing. If they're just a borderline talent and everybody else is playing better than them, they're going to go to the practice squad and we're going to get players poached. That's what's going to happen.
And this is why I think that like Brad Holmes has been great at like managing the cap and getting underneath and getting rid of these bad things. And he's done it so well that he is going to have to go into a new strategy right here because you can't just load your team up with young talent, young. Eventually, you got to spend some of these draft capitals on bringing in proven players. And that's what the model was in the Rams. It's like you get to a critical mass, pop, and then you start over, and then you critical mass. You have to run it like that. So I can see them doing something big here, but I could also see them doing nothing.
That looks like a high school basketball court there. A-Dub, is that where you're at?
No, it's a college court.
Oh, college court. Okay.
Yeah, it's a D2 type 1-2.
Oh, cool.
Right
I
on.
I kind of figured you worked somewhere in facilities management when I saw the background. That's all.
Yeah, that is my department where I work.
I would think that Green Bay would want to bring in a veteran receiver for that receiver room.
I agree. I thought that they should have grabbed Julio Jones as a veteran. Look, Philadelphia picked him up, and he actually scored a touchdown. He broke his allergy to the end zone this year.
Oh, I like that.
If the reason why they're not doing that is because our GM, his plan is going to be a matter of let the season play out as it is, let these young guys eventually get their connection and chemistry down. At the end of the year, whatever changes that needs to be made, he'll consider doing it in the off season.
Yep, and that's kind of like what you said right at the beginning of the season too. Like A-Dub's like one of the coolest like Packer fans that's out there because he was realistic to this, being $40 million behind the cap with ripping the Band-Aid off with Aaron Rodgers and developing this whole season and not expecting too much, kind of like the Lions last year. We called it house money. That was our mantra last year. It was all house money. If we do well, we make the playoffs. We're there a year early, right? Even this year's a year early.
I'm still getting hate on my fan page because of repeating what Adam Schefter said. I'm not the one that broke it. He is. But I got ahead of it. I posted my article that there may not be a trade because of cap room situations and everything else a week prior to all this stuff breaking on Monday Night Football. Say what you want. Yeah, I know we all want that. We all want them to do that big move. But when there's no way to do the big move without hurting the future of the team and the cap going forward of the team, it doesn't make sense. Because we all said prior to this season, we were probably going to make the playoffs and might get there, but we were not ready to make the big game because of holes on the roster. We said that prior to the season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That next year was probably our year. 2023 is not it. And A-Dub agreed with that prior to the season. You agreed with it. Mike agreed with it. And today, but we're outperforming our expectations.
Right.
Nobody had us at 6-2 at this point. We had a minimum of 3 losses when you looked at the schedule.
Yeah.
Just because of the away and how it broke down. We had us winning certain games that we did win. But 2023 could be the year.
Well, just so you know, my homerness is a little bit more, maybe more than yours. My dumbass thought that we were realistically a Super Bowl contender this year, just because I really believe in the development of these second and third year guys, and having a GM that can hit 23 out of 23 is like, that's unheard of. Like, there is no other GM that is hitting batting 1,000 with their team right now. And I know Jamar Jefferson fluctuates on and off. So sometimes it's 22, sometimes it's 23. But great job by Brad Holmes for building this thing and doing it early to where we can even have a conversation like this. And it's okay. I know that we're probably not going to trade for anybody, but I just want people to feel like that dopamine of thinking of like Max Crosby on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, like the Madden pool.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But the only way we're going to be able to do something like that is if we have that remove salary cap penalties button, like on Madden. That was my point. That's
right. You can just kind of like just rip that Band-Aid off on the Madden and nobody gets hurt. That's what happens. But I think I'm going to close out the segment, but I think I am going to pull it back. So we'll do the, afterwards. So I'm going to do my soft outro right here, but go ahead and plug your show, Jeremy. Let's close this out.
Well, it is kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. I do my post-game show tonight at 7:00, on Wednesday at 8:30. I am doing my NFL-based show where we cover the top 3 news, which is there's going to be a lot because it'll be trades galore, because there are going to be some trades made today. It just depends on who does them, like the Montez Sweat trade that broke just prior to me jumping on. That being said, we also got the Friday show, which is the Lions Fan Cave and pregame show. But this week, there's no pregame, so it's just Lions news. I wonder who we're going to pick up off of the free agency wire and practice squad coaching. That's my opinion on it. I've stuck with it for 4 weeks now.
So, all right. Well, there we go. The final message right there from Jeremy B right there. And if you ever want to know why, right there, Dan Campbell has it all laid out right for you. We are streaming live into the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. So a great way to show support of the show is just to hit the like button and share the video with somebody. And that would be really awesome if you did that. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out a lot, and we appreciate it. Thank you to the Detroit Lion News. You guys have been allowing us to broadcast into your network for, 6 months right now. I love the relationship. We're able to scratch each other's backs now, and it's a good working relationship. Joe Chap, you're one of the finest Lion fans that are out there, and your opinions aren't shared by everybody, but that's why we all have our own shows. This is NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. I'm here every morning. We're talking Lions football. We're talking Bears. We're talking Packers, whatever the flavor is. And right now, the Lions are the flavor. And, I appreciate A-Dub because all of the other Packer fans are out there doing this thing right here, letting the butthurt flow through their whole bodies and everything like that. Yes. So I'm going to end this part like I do every day right here, because I want to say blessing over your life. You can hear the words, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Peace and love to you all.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.
There. That's another episode in the books. We appreciate you. Welcome to the nightcap, or whatever you call this, the after party, right, Jeremy?
Yes, sir.
So what I do at this point with everybody is I go into this YouTube. I grab the broadcast that we're watching right now, and all these people that are watching on Facebook or Detroit Lion News, I'm going to throw the YouTube link into the comments. And if you could take the time to help me out, go over to the YouTube stream, hit that like button, hit the share button. We appreciate those supports. We're trying to get it out there to as many football fans as we can get. We didn't realize how many people love this type of thing. You know, we do this because we love it, but we didn't realize how many people actually love just hanging out and talking football. And that's what we have here every morning. 11 a.m. We get Jeremy B in here. And we know sports. They've represented here before. There's some of the other podcasters that are out there that I wished I would come on my show, but they don't know I exist yet. Or they don't care.
They're not paying attention.
That's all right. You know, we're running with the people that are running with us right here. And we've been doing this open mic every Monday for a couple years now. It's kind of turned into, so it's really funny that the Packers fans all dove into corners because they were beating their chests for the last couple of years pretty hard, making fun of us pretty hard. And we took it. We took it because the Lion fans are the best fans on the earth. And there isn't even really a close second because I've watched the other fan bases crumble when their teams turn bad. We don't. We know how to weather the storm, and we've been hungry for a winner here in Detroit for a long time. A lot of us have been grinding in this space of football talk for a long time. And the payoff is when your team wins. And when you can talk football while your team is winning, that's a pretty good feeling. That is. PTSOL, that was something that we talked about last year. Not so much anymore. Because the cure to that is winning. You get to the end of the games, that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like they're going to lose it. Oh my God, what are they going to do to lose this one? That feeling starts to go away when you start stacking wins. You start feeling, wow, maybe they can win this game at the end of the game. You start feeling like, God, something amazing is about ready to happen. That's the way I felt when Jahmyr Gibbs was running the football yesterday. The little kid that fell in love with football when I watched Barry Sanders run for the first time. That little kid that wanted to know what football was all about came back alive watching Jahmyr Gibbs running into a bunch of people, and all of a sudden seeing this dude scoot out, hit the outside, break a tackle, start running for a big run. When was the last time the Lions had a run game like this? Wait till David Montgomery comes back. PTSOL is dead. Get that nonsense out of here. You can't even... the same old Lions now? You know what the same old Lions is?
Dead. Buried.
4-1 versus the Packers. That's what same old Lions is. Winning more road games against winning teams is what same old Lions is now.
How many division winners have we beat this year so far? Or is tied for leading the division at the time we played them?
Yeah, Tampa Bay is a good team that we beat. Kansas City is a good team that we beat.
Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Packers. Those were 4 division leaders or tied for the division lead when we played them.
So that's a beautiful thing. And
say what you want. Raiders were second place in the AFC West right now when we played them.
And you know what? For the time being, we're going to be nicer to the opposing fan bases than they were to us. Because
Why?
we don't.
Why?
Because we don't take these moments for granted. I'm going to beat my chest. I'm allowed to beat my chest. I've even said on this program that it's okay that when you get done winning your game, you can run out into the streets, metaphorically naked, and wing your ding ding out for 7 days. You get to do that. And in this case, the Lions get to go out there and beat their chest for 14 days because we get to carry it over into the bye.
Yes, sir.
So we're ready. We're a fan base that's hungry. We're a fan base that's ready. And there's no curses. Your team's either good or it's not.
I have one guy from the Packers fan base posted, the Lions are going to win with 4 field goals. Hey, we won by 4 field goals, idiot.
You know, when we win and we win ugly like that, we won ugly. Let's be honest.
Oh,
we won ugly.
We had turnovers.
And we should have won that game with 40 points. You know, that we could have scored on every possession if there was better red zone play calling or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it was just blocking in the red zone.
You don't want to give to the fact that the 5th best red zone defense this year has been the Raiders. They've only allowed 7 touchdowns all season.
Sure. I mean, if you want to nitpick a loss, that's fine. You have every right to do that. Not you, but right. the listeners. You have the right to do that.
That's what Fred Peterson saying now.
What up, Fred? What up, Fred? So we feel pretty good right here.
Feeling good? No, we're feeling fantastic. But it's time for me to get ready for work. Have a great day.
Yep, me too. I just wanted to give the last shout out to people right there. Thanks, Jeremy, for popping on.
Thanks to everybody in the chat talking in here because it's great. Without you guys, this show's nothing. So we need y'all.
We do. But we got them. We love you guys, man. We love football fans. We love Jeremy B. We love Main Event Mike. We love Sir Slap Nasty. We love A-Dub. Steve is real. Brent, Fred. Brent and Fred, same old Packers, right? No, but in case you didn't know, like we're not affiliated with the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions don't pay us. We're just fans, man. We love football. We do this because we love it. We love coming live here every day. I love the fact that there's enough of you guys that are watching that I could support my family by talking to y'all about football. And I love it. And I appreciate you guys for that. I appreciate the way that we use football on this program to bring families together, because that's the most important thing to me. Faith, family, football. Oh gosh, but the family is above football. And we use football to bring the families together. Spend time with your family. It's Halloween. Doing the trick-or-treating if that's your thing. Do some trick-or-treating. Have some fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. It's important. It's important that we're there for our peeps. I want to be the one that's going to be here when the Lions go into the Super Bowl. I want to see it. I want to say that I was here. Are we coming up on this time? That's the question that we're going to answer. The Lions are Super Bowl contenders. I said it, and I ain't going to apologize for it. I ain't going to pump the brakes. I don't need to pump the brakes. You pump the brakes. You pump the brakes on pumping the brakes. You can come to the same realization that I'm at right now. I don't care. You can make excuses or whatever. You're 6-2 because you're a good football team. San Francisco's a good football team, but the Lions are a good football team. We're a good football team. We're going to be a tough out. They could go to the Super Bowl. This team is good enough to beat the Eagles. This team is good enough to beat the San Francisco 49ers. This team's good enough to beat the Ravens. The Ravens got us good, but that don't just mean they're better. The Lions just won a game decimated on their offensive line. We're going to talk about that, right? Put an asterisk on it. If they would have beat us, would we put an asterisk on it? No. You win the games with the players that you have available. And I love it. I love it. We're going to be relevant. It is. The Lions are going to rise to relevancy. And we get to witness it. But I love ending every single one of our segments right here. There's nothing ends a program better than Green Bay tears. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow.
It's not fair. They were so happy.